Hi everybody, Drew Stegman here, and today we're going to talk about the best Dividend Aristocrat stocks. Now these are stocks that I've researched and I believe these have fantastic long-term potential. And if you're unfamiliar with Dividend Aristocrat stocks, Dividend Aristocrat stocks are companies that have increased their dividend every single year for at least 25 years. So if you think about it, a company that's consistently increasing that dividend will most likely do so in the future. So I've actually made a separate video on Dividend Aristocrat stocks. I made it a few days ago. If you want to watch that video, just click that link right up there in the corner and you can watch that video. But hey, real quick, if I could get you to hit that subscribe button, I really do appreciate it. It does help out the channel. And you'll want to hit that subscribe button anyway so you don't miss out on any of these stock market analysis videos, as well as other videos on growing and investing your money and also making money, like the best side hustles and things of that nature. So if those topics interest you, you'll definitely want to hit that subscribe button and also that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. Anyway, the first dividend stock we're going to talk about is Pepsi. This is a company that has increased its dividend every single year since 1973, so for 47 years. And I'm sure you've heard of Pepsi before, and you've heard of the soda brand, but they actually just launched a different brand that actually helps people sleep. So this is called Driftwell. And this is a brand that has been around for a long, long time, since the 1800s actually. But the thing about Pepsi is that when you ask people, hey, what drink do you like? Do you like Coke or do you like Pepsi? A lot of the younger generation actually says Pepsi. I've asked people, my coworker and I were having a conversation actually a week ago, and it came up that he likes Pepsi better than Coke. And it kind of made me think, like, which one will be better in the long run, Coke or Pepsi? And I think in particular with the older generation of, baby boomers and really the elderly, they like Coke better. And that's what I've noticed. Like my grandpa, he would not drink Pepsi. He only drank Coke. But he did work at the Coke factory, so he had a bias. But it seems to me like most old people like Coke better. But I think the younger generation, especially people my age, I'm 24, going to be 25 in a few days here, but that type of age range, anywhere from like I'd say 30 and under, is probably more leaning towards Pepsi. Just from who I've talked to, I just asked my wife tonight actually, do you prefer Pepsi or Coke? And she said Pepsi. So I think Pepsi stands to gain even more market share in the future because, like I said, the younger generation really does like Pepsi. And that is a big factor to consider when you consider Pepsi's future sales and their ability to increase their dividend. But anyway, the dividend yield itself is 3.07%, and the payout ratio is 79%, which is actually, it's decent. I like to look at companies that have a 50, 60, 70% dividend payout ratio. And by the way, a dividend payout ratio is the amount of earnings versus the dividend they pay. So depending on that ratio, it depends on how much income they have left over, if that makes sense, after they pay out their dividends. So in this case, they would have 21% of their earnings per share left over to do whatever they want with. So they could reinvest that money into the company. They could do whatever they want with that money. And so really, that's what it comes down to. But that 79% is what they're paying out to shareholders. And it's also important to realize that if their earnings keep on going up, then that dividend payout ratio will get less and less if they keep the dividend the same. But the more the dividend goes up, some companies will increase that dividend so dramatically that it actually inhibits them from increasing the dividend in the future. So you want to see companies with a conservative dividend payout ratio. If you can find one with like a 50 or 60% dividend payout ratio, that's typically very good. And if you can find one that's 70%, 75%, that's, in my opinion, that's still pretty good. But I mean, really 50 or 60% is like really, really good. But anyway, Pepsi currently pays $1.02 every quarter. So you're looking at about $4 per share for every Pepsi share you own. Great company. And I think that, once again, they're going to benefit from the millennial trend in the future. I think that's something that's really going to have an impact on their future sales. And also the additional brands they are launching, just like the Driftwell brand that they are launching, which will be available in the first quarter, I believe, of 2021. But anyway, moving on to the next stock, we have 3M, ticker symbol MMM. This is a company that has 55,000 products across. It's an internationally diversified business, so they have products all across the world. international distribution. And when you think of 3M, what I think of are like we at work, for example, we have cones, those orange cones you see. And of course, you have the N95 face mask that 3M is now manufacturing. But they have a lot of different products. And so those are just a couple of examples. They have, industrial, safety and graphics, electronics, energy, healthcare, and consumer staples. So, but anyway, those are just a couple of the products I thought of right off the top of my head. You could also think of 3M tape. They do a lot of tape and stuff, a lot of products that you probably use, like if you're working in a shop, like I am, for example. We have a lot of 3M products in our shop. So, pretty much a universal brand that a lot of companies buy their products from internationally. And so I expect 3M to be around for a long time as well. I think they're a great company. And their dividend right now, their dividend yield is 3.41%. They pay $1.47 every single quarter. And their dividend payout ratio is pretty good right now at about 64%. So anyway, I like 3M. I think it's a great company, and I think that you can hold that company for decades to come. I don't think they're going anywhere. Next on the list is McDonald's, and ticker symbol is MCD. Now, McDonald's is one of those deals where when we go into a recession, typically people eat out less. And so what that means is initially McDonald's might see a hit to their sales. And this has happened in the past. McDonald's does see slowdown. They will see their stock price fall and things of that nature. They're not totally immune to recessions. But at the same time, when consumers stop eating at the fancier restaurants, the fancier sit-down restaurants, they still want to eat out. Most consumers, even in a recession, they still want to eat out. A lot of them still want to go to get food, but they'll choose a cheaper option. And McDonald's is a household name, and so for that reason, they do tend to benefit in a recession because people start flocking more to McDonald's to get a cheaper meal. And that's just what happens. That happened in 2008. That's happened in previous recessions. And so McDonald's is a very strong company to own, in my opinion, because I don't think they're going anywhere. There's so many young people these days, and they've grown up with McDonald's. I've grown up with McDonald's. Now, I'm personally the exception to the rule because I don't eat McDonald's anymore after I found out how they make their food. But anyway, guys, McDonald's is a strong company, and there's so many people who eat McDonald's internationally, not just in the United States, and they're continuing to expand, and I think that they're going to be around for decades to come, no doubt in my mind. But anyway, McDonald's pays a 2.25% dividend yield, and translated into annual terms, or I guess quarterly terms, they pay $1.25 on a quarterly basis every 3 months, and then $5 per share on an annualized basis. So McDonald's dividend payout ratio is 77.2%, and they've been paying a dividend actually since 1976, and have raised that dividend every single year since then. So 44 years of total dividend increases for McDonald's. Now, the next one on the list is Realty Income, or O, just the ticker symbol O. Now, this is a diversified real estate business that has what's called triple net leases. Okay, so think of it this way. If you're a tenant, the tenant is the person who has to pay the landlord, right? If you're a tenant and you have to pay for all the expenses, all the maintenance and everything else, it puts it all on you. Well, the landlord, let's say the landlord in this case is Realty Income, they don't have to pay for any of the expenses. So if I'm renting from Realty Income, I have to pay for all the maintenance. I have to pay for everything. The only thing that Realty Income does is collect rent. So that's really what triple net leases are all about, is they don't have to do anything but collect rent in a simplified term. Basically, all the expenses, all the extra maintenance and everything else that goes along with owning a property is up to the tenant to maintain and to make sure it gets done. And so Realty Income is in the business of collecting rent. And they have over 6,500 properties diversified across the United States. And the thing about their business model is that it's well diversified, very well diversified. And so when you think about real estate, you think about commercial office buildings with, for example, everybody moving to online with video conferencing apps like Zoom. And I actually did an analysis video on Zoom stock as well, so I will leave that info card up there right now if you want to watch that video. But anyway, companies like Zoom, for example, all these companies, all these big tech companies are moving online, and that's going to be a growing trend in my opinion because it's cheaper. And so commercial office space is one area that is being hit hard and will continue to get hit hard in the future. And so where does Realty Income stand with that? Because if you think about a real estate business, then they should be hit hard as well. But the thing about Realty Income's business model is that a lot of their tenants, actually most of their tenants, are almost recession proof. So if you think about like fast food restaurants and you think about the fact that they have very small percentages of their portfolio in each sector, and yes, they do have brick and mortar retail centers, but that is like a very small percentage of their portfolio. So they can actually get hit in one sector, and it really would not even affect their ability to pay their dividend. They could get hit in multiple sectors, and they would still get most of their cash flow. And that's actually what's happened. But they've actually raised their dividend already this year, and I would not be surprised if they raise it again before the end of the year. Very possible. So Realty Income has increased their dividend for 26 years straight since 1994 when they initially IPO'd on the New York Stock Exchange. They currently pay out 23 cents per share, actually a little bit more than 23 cents per share, but you get the idea. And their dividend yield is 4.37%. So like I said, Realty Income is a very well-diversified real estate company that aims to go for defensive sectors that will do good in recessions. But in addition, they're so well-diversified that even if they get hit in one sector, it's not going to kill them. They're going to have so much to fall back on. So that's one of the reasons I like Realty Income. And I really do like this business. I think it's a very strong company. But anyway, moving on to the next stock, which is Proctor Gamble. Procter Gamble sells products in the beauty, hair, personal care. You think about feminine products and like deodorant and things of that nature. There's a lot of different products they sell. Baby care products. There's so many products we use every day that we might not even realize that they're manufactured by Procter Gamble because they actually are under different brand names. And so they're under brands that we just, we see the brand in the store, we're like, oh, that looks like a cool brand. But then in the little like bottom corner, you'll see it's Procter Gamble, right? Whether it's soap, whether it's laundry detergent, whatever it is, there's so many different products. This is a huge internationally diversified conglomerate that sells thousands of different products in our grocery stores every single day, international distribution. And in a recession, this is very defensive because people still have to buy soap. Right? People still buy paper towels and things of that nature. So Procter & Gamble is very well diversified in terms of their business model, in terms of them being able to face a recession head on and really not be affected in a significant way. So a very defensive play in a recession. That's why I like Procter & Gamble so much. So Procter & Gamble currently pays a 2.3% dividend yield. Their payout ratio is just 59%, which is very conservative. I really like that dividend payout ratio because it gives them plenty of room to expand the business in the future, to go into different product lines and things of that nature. So that's one thing I really do like about Procter & Gamble. And they've increased their dividend for 57 years straight. They've actually paid a dividend since their company was founded over 100 years ago, or around that time. For over 100 years is what I'm trying to say. They've paid a dividend. So it's a very strong company, and like I said, this is probably the most defensive play on this list in terms of doing well during a recession and being able to continue to increase their dividend. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think of these picks in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on whether or not you're buying these stocks or if you already own them in your portfolio. And if you'd like me to make more videos on the best Dividend Aristocrat stocks, I will do that in the future. Once again, if you haven't watched that video on Dividend Aristocrat stocks, you want to learn more about them, then click that link in the description. It is the first link in the description, all about Dividend Aristocrat stocks and how you can get started investing in them. Until next time, guys, I'm Drew Stegman. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.